Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of eXhuming the X-Files here on the Outpost Unknown YouTube channel. If you love this show, hit that like and subscribe because in a world full of X-Files YouTube shows, our Kung Fu is the best. My name is Matthew. He is Jeremy.
I am that.
And tonight we are talking Unusual Suspects. This is episode 3 of season 5, directed by Kim Manners, written by Mr. Breaking Bad himself, Vince Gilligan. Now, Jeremy, this is the 100th episode of the X-Files TV show. This is
Wow.
we've watched 100 episodes so far. We only have 118 more to go and 2 movies, and then we're done. Can we
Let's see if I make it. We'll see if I make it.
Okay, so if you've listened to the last couple episodes, you know we were not happy with season 5. But we're moving on. Scully is cured of cancer, supposedly, as of right now. Our special agents, I'm looking forward to them getting back to a cool Monster of the Week episode or something. Anything to get away from this conspiracy arc. Surely that's what we're going to get, right?
Yeah. No.
Okay, well, let's talk Unusual Suspects. Let's see where this one goes.
Starts out, it lets us know that the year is 1989 and a SWAT team has pulled up to some sort of event. They visit the cops that are like hanging out, making sure that nobody comes outside of the front door for whatever briefing they can get before they go outside. And what's weird is they're like, yeah, there's no alarm that got tripped. It's just that the front door was open. Like, okay, why are the cops there in force for a B&E aiming at the door like the Terminator is about to come outside with a fucking minigun?
Looks cool.
Okay.
Visually, it looks nice.
SWAT goes in. They find no resistance. They find a big old pile of blood, and they hear this dude like moaning underneath a box. They pull the box away, and the dude is nude, and he's moaning, "They're here! They're
Very sweaty.
here!" Oh yeah, greasy. They see a service elevator. They start padding over to it, and then all of a sudden, the lone gunmen just bust out. They were like hiding in the elevator behind some boxes, but it's basically the Three Stooges, and they all get caught. You find out that the naked guy is Mulder, and he's naked in 1989. And I'm like, another time travel episode? And then we get the title screen.
Now, I had no recollection of this episode. Did you?
No, not at all.
Okay, I
Not
didn't
at all.
either. And so when I saw a naked Mulder shivering, yelling out, "They're here!" Very, very sweaty, and that the lone gunman showed up in the opening intro, I was like, "Oh!" My note actually says, "Jeremy's going to hate this," because I don't feel like you're a fan of the lone gunman, and this opening sort of cold open told me like, "Oh, the lone gunmen are going to be the main characters in this episode."
I mean, I don't.
I
I
feel like
didn't.
you're always trashing on them. You never say anything nice about them.
They, I like that Frohickey's a perv a lot. The redheaded guy with the beard can't act his way out of a fucking paper bag. And then the other guy I've taken to calling him Garth from Wayne's World. He's all right. Like he's kind of a dickhead, but
Well,
I
I will
mean,
say that this cold open, I was interested to see where this goes because just the idea was like, why is Mulder naked on a floor with these dudes running around? Like, I was genuinely curious as to how we get to that point.
I I like this episode more as it went on. I did not care at this title screen. I was
Okay.
so burnt out from the last two. I'm like, all right, and we're immediately dropping in with another alien episode, but it was back in the past. Like, okay. And I'm also not a big fan of origin episodes
Oh,
or
okay.
origin stories all that much. But anyway, starts out with a guy named Detective Munch is is just grilling the lone gunman. and it's just the dweeby redhead that can't act for shit.
Yeah.
And you get the impression that they don't know each other. And the redhead starts talking to him about himself. Bly, Blink, Blinken. What's his name? Blevins? No,
Blood. No. God dang it. What?
Byers.
Byers.
That's
Yeah.
it. Byers
Byers,
starts,
Langley, and Frohickey. Yeah. Byers.
and he starts talking about how he was named after JFK and that he works for the FCC. And people call him a narc, just like like they could see him a mile away, just walk by his booth at the tech center that he was at, or the expose, and just start like, "You're a fucking narc, dude." He does look like a narc. Um, he sees a somewhat attractive woman, and he offers her a button. He doesn't. She doesn't take it, and he immediately decides to chase her down while his coworker plays Dig Dug on a PC behind him.
Well,
Um,
he even says, "I this is out of the normal or out of the ordinary for me. Like normally he would not do this, but this is one of those things. He saw an attractive woman. He's like, you know what? I'm going to take my shot here."
He's gonna shoot his shot. Yeah, in a shot he did shoot, but he had to wait until the girl went to go talk to Frohickey, and Frohickey has no problem talking to this girl at all. He just immediately starts just slanging peen until he gets cock blocked by Garth.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, buy it from that if you want to watch it through snow and blue stuff. And he's like, well, at least my things don't burn people's houses down. So you can
The
tell.
banter between them was good.
It was. I liked it. I like everybody except for Byers. And they gave him the most screen time. It made me sick to my stomach a little bit.
Yeah,
But
he's the lead of this essentially.
um the narc ends up physically running into the gal so hard her lipstick and a cute child of her picture just pops out of her pockets. Says that she could use some help, and she finally takes the stupid sunglasses that she's wearing off, and she isn't, she's instantly 1000% better looking. Says that her ex-boyfriend kidnapped her child, and as a result of that she's wandering around a tech fair. And you could just like, Byers just starts in with the lovesick puppy, like, I will do everything that you tell me to do no matter
Yeah.
what it is. And so she's like, all right, well, I need you to hack into a government website.
Yeah.
And so he's like,
Hack. I can't be a hacker. I work for the FCC.
but then, he does. And why does he do it? Because he's lonely.
He's horny.
He says later in the episode it's because he wanted to help. But yeah, okay, buddy.
Hmm. Women have
Um
a way of making men do things they wouldn't normally do. That's just a rule of the world.
he's asking, like, as he's getting on the internet, he kicks the Dig Dug player off of his computer and is like, what do you, or what do you, starts asking him about her ex. Like, I don't know much about him other than he's psychotic. It's like, you made a kid together. You don't know him at all. So he does find some file that has the daughter's name in it, only it's encrypted, and they need to quickly print it off on a dot matrix printer, which does not print quickly, for you
Yeah.
kids out there that have no idea what I'm talking about.
I remember those things.
Jeez, I loved the sound of them. The
Oh yeah.
just grinding away, making a dog shit print copy of something. Um, but her psychotic boyfriend shows up, and they peek through a curtain, and it's Mulder walking around, like, asking people questions.
With a goofy like, see, I'm younger than I normally look, sort of like comb over haircut.
Oh, I didn't see that in 480p. He just looked like himself.
Oh no, he's got a different haircut where it's kind of like his hair's kind of swooshed to the side a little bit to make him look like, oh, 1989 Mulder looks different than 1996 Mulder.
I
I like that moment though when they show. I don't know if it's now or a little bit later. It's probably a little bit later when they show Mulder. He's like looking at this sort of like convention. He walks up to the booth, like aliens are here, invaders are here, and he
Yeah.
they just show him walk up and like he has this doofy sort of thing where he grabs something and almost drops it. Like, oh god, I'm so sorry. But I what I loved about that little moment is that's the Mulder that made me fall in love with the X Files. It's the Mulder that is like you and I at that time fucking love aliens. Anything aliens, you and I would be like, like a magnet going towards like, oh my god, we've got to read about this or watch this or something. And he it was almost like childlike in that moment, and I really appreciated that sequence in the episode. Short as it may be.
They end up going over, or they take this encrypted printed file over to Frohickey, and he starts shutting the curtain. Or no, she walks in just alone, and she starts shutting the curtain on his booth. And Frohickey has this great line. He's like, "Oh yeah," and then he turns around and he sees the narc standing there, or buyer standing there. It's like, well, why does he have to be?
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna do this because you're hot, but I don't want to do it in front. But she hands him the papers, says, can you decrypt this? And Frohickey also, I mean, he becomes my favorite person in the episode. He's like, it can be decrypted, but it, we could just beat that guy's ass over
Yeah.
there. Like, he's pointing at Mulder. He's like, we just beat his ass and then ask him what it's about. And it would be probably a lot faster than having to decrypt this file.
Yeah.
And
And
she's
she's like,
like,
no, no, no,
no.
no, no, no. Like, don't stay away from him. But yeah, he's just so brazen. He's not as scared of Mulder at all. He's like, let's just go beat the shit out of this guy.
More power to him. I wanted to see it go or try to happen, but no. So he decides that or what was it, that they need to talk to Garth from Wayne's World next door because because his kung fu is the best.
Yeah, he's dungeon mastering a game of D&D in the background.
And he somehow convinces some dude to bet $50 on a roll he's about to make. It was weird. I've never seen
I've
money. Like, I'm a degenerate when it comes to gambling. I can't figure out how to work betting $50 on a roll in fucking D&D would work out.
I've never played Dungeons and Dragons. I have a buddy of mine who's really trying to find people to come over and play Dungeons and Dragons because he doesn't really know anybody that will play it. So at some point here in the near future, I'm going to go play Dungeons and Dragons for the very first time. I'm looking forward to it.
It's fun. Bring your imagination and your storytelling stuff. That's about the most fun that you can have with it. Good luck. So
Will do.
they interrupt his D&D game, and he's like, you need to help decrypt this. And he's like, there's only one way I'm going to do it, and you're going to have to say it. And it was just the pentultimate nerd moment of that game. He's like, your kung fu is the best. He's like, yep, that's all I need. That's all I needed to hear. And
I feel
so
like I'm gonna use that phrase in daily life now. My kung fu is the best. And then when I'm one upped, I'm going to tell that person your kung fu is the
your
best.
kung
They're going to have
fu is
no idea what that references to, but I'm going to start using it.
so what goes they end up grabbing him. They go to some hotel room. Apparently, maybe they're in a hotel in the convention center or whatever. And he hacks the government. And I wrote a note here. It's like he hacks the FBI website, and both of the quote unquote hacks that have happened is they just type a password in and it lets them in immediately.
That's not how hacking works.
Not the first time, no. Not password numero uno, unless they just have it written on a fucking note, a sticky pad on their monitor, which does happen. Um, they get into the FBI. They find the blonde that's been asking them for help. Find out that according to the FBI, she blew up a lab and killed an MP that was at the gate. Like, she killed all of her coworkers. And as they're finding this out, this blonde breaks into their bedroom or their hotel room, and they're all like, and she starts kind of getting crazy because the gunmen clearly don't believe that she didn't do any of this. So she starts like just randomly throwing out conspiracy theory bullshit to get them to believe her. Like she
Yeah,
conjures up JFK. She pulls a Gideon Bible out of the drawer and says that it's a listening device, a
I like
surveillance
that.
device. It was why?
I No, because I thought that was a very clever way to be like, because anytime you go to a hotel, you open up the nightstand and there's a Gideon Bible in there. Do you ever open it? Ever? Like, I certainly don't. I never open those things, but they're always there. And I'm like, well, that would be a really smart way to listen in on people doing whatever in a hotel room, is using that stupid ass Gideon Bible. And so just throwing that kind of like thing out there, I was like, oh, okay. Eh, Clever. I thought it was clever.
She was just trying to lend some air of respectability or believability to all of her crazy bullshit by bringing up other crazy bullshit. And about your Gideon Bible bit, every once in a while, when I stay at a hotel room and I forget to bring something to read, I will grab one and, because I read and I shit at the same time. This is just a thing that happens. And I will flip open Revelation because that is actually kind of a scary, spooky, but interesting book. But
Okay.
it's the only time I read the Bible is on the toilet, and I don't know if that's a blasphemy or something like that, but I do open them.
Blasphemy.
It's not a listening device
Okay.
unless you're talking to God.
No, he's always listening.
He's, Santa Claus in space. So what is it? She picks up the Gideon Bible and she's like, "You need to help me decipher something," and then she drops a gun out of her purse. It's like, decipher this gun. I guess she's just gonna force him to do it, but then they decide to decrypt the file. I
Yeah, I
guess
think they're
they're just
scared she might shoot him.
yeah, it definitely gives that vibe. So they hack the file. They find out that there's going to be a biological attack. And why would this be on an FBI file server, by the way? That there's going to be a biological attack that happens somewhere in the Boston corridor. So basically anywhere from Boston all the way down to DC.
Yeah. I I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know the answer.
They find out that her dentist is in on her surveillance, and she
Mm,
realizes that she just recently had dental work, so she goes to her room with a pair of pliers and yanks one of the teeth out of her face.
I like that scene.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
I just wish they would have shown it,
and
because
then
she
they
goes in there and then, like, they just, you know, cut away and she's like, "Ugh." But yeah, I wish they would have actually shown her pull those pliers, stick them in there, and just yank it out.
and then they look at the bottom of the tooth, and sure enough, there is a wire implanted in the bottom of her tooth.
Creepy.
So then we jump back to the warehouse that they were hiding in the pre-title screen. Um, they're searching for a certain box number that has the biological agent in it that's going to be released in the Boston area, and then they open it up and it's full of inhalers for asthmatic people.
Yeah.
And so, and what? You're gonna release a bunch of gas like into the atmosphere to test on human beings, and you're gonna get what? Like a guy to just sit up on a roof and just empty one at a time,
Well, see, no, I thought it was like they were just testing people who had asthma, and that they were gonna give that was going to be the biological test. So they stuck it all in inhalers, and then they distribute the inhalers to the people up and
Oh,
down the seaboard that have that, and then that's how those people will get infected.
that sounds kind of stupid.
Yeah, it's very
You have a
stupid.
bunch of people that like they'll be the reason that they take the inhaler is because they're having this a sort of attack in their body that is killing them, right? Their
Hmm.
lungs are closing up, it's filling with whatever, they're just not able to breathe. They need this medicine to hit their throat, to hit their lungs in order to expand them so that it will let oxygen in before they pass out and maybe die of suffocation. So
Yes.
during these moments, they're just going to inhale some sort of toxin that has nothing to do with saving their lives. What are they going to get? Like 12 seconds of data before the person just fucking dies?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying the writing has been stellar this season so far. Um,
I'm more
I
inclined to just believe a dude who's going to sit up on a roof somewhere in Boston,
just manually spray it.
one in each hand.
I will say that the inhaler thing hit close to home for me because when I was a kid, I used to have an inhaler. I am like, for example, it's gotten better. I don't have to have one anymore, but I used to be. Well, I still am like deathly allergic to cats. A lot of times, if I'm around a specific cat, I mean, my lungs start like my esophagus starts constricting. Oh, that one time I was over at your house in Aurora, I almost died, almost walked myself to the hospital because I was like, I think I'm gonna like suffocate here. So like putting stuff in inhalers, which is like a life saving thing that I've had to use multiple times in my childhood, that kind of like creeps me out because I was like, well, yeah, what exactly is in this thing? You just trust that whatever's in there is going to save your life. So yeah, if they would have, I wish they would have made a better story with the inhaler thing. I think there was a good kernel of a story there, but it's just kind of throwaway in this one.
It hit the editing room floor again. Just a
Yeah.
little bit of exposition. They're like, our audience is too stupid to wrap their mind around that, and we can't talk about it a whole lot. So anyway, um, Mulder just shows up out of the blue to arrest them or arrest the girl because that's who he's been chasing down this whole episode is Holly slash whatever her real name is. Can't remember. And as he's drawing down on them, he's just going to arrest her. And they're like, well, what about us? And he's like, well, I'm going to arrest you too. And then some dudes just show up and start like, you got to come with us, doctor, or whatever your name is. And Mulder's like, no, you're not. I'm an agent. I got this gun. Don't you see this gun? And then he starts firing it. Um, ends up hitting, or everybody starts shooting. He ends up hitting a lot of the inhaler canisters, and apparently Mulder starts. He just gets a face full of this gas, and nobody else does.
Yeah.
Um, while he is or while Mulder starts hallucinating, he starts taking off all his clothes. They walk away with what is it? He gets gassed and he gets naked, and he's about to get executed by the two guys that had come in to kidnap the doctor. And then the doctor smokes both of the assassins.
Yeah.
Not even like a hail of bullets either, just two shots, two instant kill shots. Like, okay, this doctor, this quote unquote doctor, everything she said about who she is has been a lie. It had to have been. She isn't just some like geeky lab tech that could just put dudes down like this. I just don't believe it.
Hmm. At this point, we should point out that Mulder starts hallucinating aliens. That
Oh
the
well,
aliens are.
there's a cleanup crew that suddenly
Yeah.
shows up, being headed up by none other than Deep Throat himself.
X.
Oh,
Not deep
I'm
throat.
sorry,
X.
you're right. Yeah, X. And they're like mopping up. They're taking away the bodies. They don't have a hold of the blonde, but as they're running around doing this cleanup job, like Mulder's hallucinating that they're grays running around,
Yeah.
but just the shadows of them. It was really stupid. That was stupid.
Did you like it when X showed up?
No,
Oh, okay.
you remember this guy? You remember when this show was still good? No, no, I didn't. But he says sanitize him.
Yeah, 1989, folks. That's why X is able to show up.
So they sort of do a good job of cleaning up. Um, the whole time Byers is mouthing off to X, and Frohicke's like, dude, if you do not shut up, this guy is gonna kill us. And he says it like 3 different times, but
Yeah.
Byers won't. I'm a government employee, god damn it. They
We
I
have
mean,
sway.
they all have to get down on their knees, and X picks up the gun that the doctor had shot these two dudes with. There's 4 bullets left in there out of a 6 shot gun. He spins the chamber, aims at the back of Byers' head, and it's just lucky that it falls on one of the 2 out of 6 empty chambers that are in the gun. But that doesn't get him to stop fucking running his mouth. It was unbelievable that that guy just wouldn't stop talking about it.
So why do you think that X did not just kill all of them? Because he lets them go.
Well, from the moment they walked in, they all just kept walking around the outside of them, walking past them like they were absolute nobodies.
Yeah.
Like nobody's. I know they probably knew who they were. Like nobody's gonna fucking believe you. So they just didn't care.
Yeah, but like they just X has been shown in the past that just he doesn't give a shit about murdering people and making people disappear. And he goes when he goes up to Mulder in this episode, because one of the cleanup guys, they clean up everything, but they leave Mulder for the very last thing the cleanup crew is doing. And the cleanup crew guy's like, all right, you want me to like, basically take care of this guy, get rid of him, and X is like, no, like don't do anything to
Leave
this
this
guy at
one
all.
alone.
Yeah, leave him alone. But why doesn't he do anything to? I mean, he gives the lone gunmen their name. They mention like John F. Kennedy, and X turns around. He's like, "I heard it was a lone gunman," and then like walks off all cryptically. But I'm like, why didn't he kill him? Is it just because like he knows these guys will be able to help Mulder in the future? Mulder will have allies, so he's gonna let them live for that reason? It seems out of character for him, I guess.
I think maybe he just let them live because they have no credibility, and like nobody's going to listen to what they say at any point, so they can continue like helping Mulder believe in the conspiracy by egging him
Okay.
on. They were there, they saw what really happened, but they have
Yeah.
zero proof.
And X would probably know who Mulder. Obviously, he knows who Mulder is at this point in time, and we know that X was working for Deep Throat. So maybe it was one of those things like, well, you can't touch Mulder, and maybe these guys will help him out in the future. And like you said, they're no threat to us, so why bother?
Just another mess to clean up. And they
Yeah.
had to know, how far out the cops were, because they barely got things done squared away before the cops pulled up outside. Okay, so they they all sit around like Frohickey and Garth just starts blaming all of this for a woman that roped them in, and they're totally right. They are
Yeah.
100% correct. But Byers is just like, I'm not a white knight at all. I don't even like girls. I just wanted to find the truth. It's like, all right, whatever, dude. But Mulder apparently comes around from his stupor just long enough for Detective Munch to let them go.
Do you,
Um,
by the way, Detective Munch, do you know who that is?
he looked like a dude on Law and Order.
Yes, he was. Now, do you remember a show in the 90s called Homicide: Life on the Street?
I faintly recall that name. I doubt I've ever watched an episode.
Okay. This guy, well, I'm going to tell a fun fact about this guy, but this character was he was a main character on Homicide: Life on the Street. It was a show on NBC. But this it was like a running thing throughout many television shows. This detective, anytime a television would a show would go to Baltimore, they would ask NBC, "Can we have this detective be in our show?" And NBC would always be like, "Hell yeah, just put him in your show." So he crosses over all kinds of different television shows, but he was primarily on Homicide: Life on the Street. But I think he was also on Law and Order.
Detective Munch.
You know,
What is this the guy that tied the X Files into Twin Peaks? I
um,
remember reading something about Twin Peaks exists in the same universe that X Files does.
I don't know. Like I remember something like that as well, but I don't know if it's this guy. That might be something different. I'll have to look it up.
It's Detective Munch in Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
All right, so Mulder gets them released. They get out, and the three of them kind of come together and deduce that what what the blonde wanted was to release this information. So she has to be at the local paper, and sure enough, she was there. On their way to find her, Frohickey and Garth totally smoke this bald guy. Just knocks him over in the street in the background.
I saw that. I was like, was that intentional?
Uh, she wasn't believed. She was all sad about it. So she was going to go paper to paper until eventually the Weekly World News picked it up. And they tell her, she tells them as a group, no matter how paranoid you are, you're never paranoid enough. And then they watch her get abducted by Deep Throat.
X.
Or sorry, yes, X.
Yeah.
Sorry, my
Probably
notes.
working under the orders of Deep Throat, though.
It was she pulled a tooth so that she would no longer be tracked. How did they continue just finding her wherever she was?
Well, I mean, the lone gunman figured out exactly where she was going to be. The most obvious thing, like going to the newspaper. I'm sure it wouldn't have been that difficult for X to figure out, well, let's drive by the local newspaper and see if she's there. She's not trying to be very like inconspicuous, other than the sunglasses.
Well, she still had the sunglasses on when she was on the street, though. Like after she said goodbye to them, she puts the sunglasses on. So, like X shouldn't have been able to see her, right?
I mean, it's a blonde wearing the same clothes just with sunglasses. Like if I put on sunglasses, would you not be able to tell it's me?
I mean, yeah, probably Clark Kent, Superman sort of thing. If I put on, you know what? I've seen you with glasses for so long, Matt. I don't know that I'd recognize you without them.
Oh,
Especially if you shaved your face and just started like rolling around. Maybe if you didn't say
okay.
anything.
Next time, like I'm just gonna randomly like come up to you at some point and just see if you recognize me.
At least
I'll shave my beard. I'll take off my glasses. I'll put on sunglasses, and I'll be like, "Hey, can I have $1?" And then just see what your reaction is, and see if you even recognize who I am.
oh, I think we could work out a deal, brother. All right. And then what is it? Mulder tracks down the gunman, and this is kind of like the assembling of the forces.
Yep.
Like this is, I think, the turning point when Mulder just decides that he's going to start investigating weird shit,
Uh huh. Yep.
and
Well,
that's
because
the end of the episode.
we see that he's into aliens and stuff already, but this seems to be where I guess they're saying the lone gunmen kind of push Mulder that fork in the road. I could just be a a normal special agent chasing people blowing up labs and stuff, or these three dudes can teach me about paranoia and conspiracies, and then I'm going to go off on that fork of the road, and my life is going to change in a different way. So it's technically kind of saying the lone gunmen were the ones that kind of made Mulder who he is today.
Yeah, it's heavily implied in this episode for sure.
All right, what did you think of Unusual Suspects?
I enjoyed it more than the previous two episodes by quite a bit. Was it a great episode? Am I going to put it in my top 5 of this season? I better not have to, but I enjoyed it for what it was.
Yeah, I thought this was charming. I I do kind of enjoy sort of origin stories and kind of seeing where people come from. I think that there's always a problem where you see an origin story and it's like, oh, the writer was just trying to be way too clever with it. And I thought this was pretty well done, where you just kind of say like these three guys didn't even really like each other. So it's kind of an origin story for everybody, right? Everybody coming together on this one day in 1989 or whatever, how they all sort of meet and become friends and stuff like that. So I enjoyed all of that. I laughed a couple times throughout this. So coming off Redux and Redux 2, I think if I had just seen this in a vacuum, without the previous context, I might not have enjoyed it as much as I ended up enjoying it. But I was just so happy to get away from those last two episodes that I was like, I'm gonna roll with whatever. I'm okay. X shows up, sweet. Member berries. All right, I'm at least getting something in this that makes me happy to be an X Files fan. So I thought it was all right. I thought it was all right. I enjoyed it just fine. Let's talk about some fun facts here. The idea for Unusual Suspects arose when the show's producers were faced with a dilemma in August 1997. Fox demanded that they begin production on the fifth season of the show, but series co stars David Duchovny and Gillian Anderson were still working on the X Files movie in Los Angeles and would be unavailable until the start of the next month, which just seems weird that Fox would be like, we demand you make the X Files without the two lead characters. Like, that just seems very strange.
Well, if you recall, Matt, that's what made this movie so great. Because if I want to say that this is the timeline of things. Season 5 ended on that Friday with an episode that led into the movie. The following Friday was when the film premiered in theaters, and then the following Friday after that, season 6 began. Like there was no break.
I don't remember the timeline, but I know that it was a very exciting time. I remember that. I don't
Yeah.
remember the specific timeline at all, but that would make sense. I mean, that would be the smart thing to do for sure. But to solve this problem, the producers decided to write an episode focusing on the Lone Gunmen. Staff writer Vince Gilligan was assigned to pen the episode, and he initially drafted a story involving nanotechnology, which series creator Chris Carter vetoed for fear that it would squander possibly the show's one chance to showcase the gunmen. Carter then proposed an episode about how the Lone Gunmen came to be. Soon after, Gilligan developed a script setting it in Baltimore. Duchovny is featured in a few of the episode scenes, which were shot weeks after the majority of the episode. We should point out that Mulder's barely in this. I mean, he's maybe 5, 6, 7 minutes total of this running time. Gilligan went to great lengths to make the story set in 1989 as accurate as possible. Purportedly, he tasked Ken Harlew, who works on props for the show, to find, quote, the biggest cell phone you can find, unquote. A search that yielded the Motorola feature in the episode. And that is funny. That was one of the moments I laughed when Mulder gets a call and he pulls out that gigantic cell phone. I actually laughed at that. When writing the episode, Gilligan lobbied for it to be a crossover with the NBC show Homicide: Life on the Street. So X Files was Fox, Homicide: Life on the Street was NBC, two completely different networks, which also takes place in Baltimore. He later recalled, quote, I realized that the whole episode was framed around Byers telling a story to a Baltimore homicide detective. So I figured, what the heck? Homicide's a great show. So why not try to get Richard Belzer to play his Detective John Munch character? Despite some hesitancy from Fox's lawyers, NBC's executive producer Tom Fontana was eventually contacted, and he was more than willing to allow the use of Belzer. Gilligan later described Fontana as a great guy for assistance in the matter. When Homicide: Life on the Street ended in 1999, he went on to play the same role on Law and Order Special Victims Unit for 15 seasons. He also cropped up as that character in individual episodes of The Beat, Law and Order Trial by Jury, Arrested Development, The Wire, Jimmy Kimmel Live, 30 Rock, and an uncredited role in some sort of 30 Rock sequel show. Consequently, he is the only actor in television history to play the same character on 11 different series.
Jeez.
So I don't see 11 names here. Maybe he was on Twin Peaks. I don't know. You'll have to Google that and check it out. Now, this is something I did not notice. I'm sure you did not notice in 480p. David Duchovny wore a wedding ring in this episode just to mess with long-term fans of the show. Probably to get the internet all riled up. It's like, oh my God, was Mulder married at some point in 1989? Which is kind of like a funny thing to do. The episode would spawn a sequel in the show's sixth season, Three of a Kind. So we can look forward to the sequel to this episode uh, in season 6. Mulder is seen talking on the phone to his FBI supervisor at the time, Reggie Purdue, who was a character seen in Young at Heart. So we saw Reggie Purdue in that. And then normally during the filming of an episode for the show, Bruce Harwood, Tom Braidwood, and Dean Hagland would share a trailer. Because this episode was all about the Lone Gunmen, they were offered separate trailers. They declined. So they were bros in real life. They all hung out in the same trailer. Now, I would have gotten my own trailer.
You wouldn't share a trailer with me?
Well, here's the thing, Jeremy. This is the only this is the only opportunity that I'm ever going to have my own trailer on a TV set, right? It's the
Yeah.
only opportunity you're ever going to have your own trailer. We're going to show up in multiple episodes down the line and we can share trailers and I have no problem, but I got to take advantage of this to get my own trailer for this episode.
You see, when you had paused at just the right time, just a moment ago, when you had said, here's the reason, Jeremy. Fuck you. And what I was hoping it was coming. It felt like it was coming. It did not show up. But
I apologize.
it's all
Fuck you.
No, here's the reason, Jeremy. Fuck you.
So yeah, that is Unusual Suspects. Hit that like and subscribe. We'll be back next Friday with another episode of Exhuming the X-Files. We're going to talk about an episode called Detour, episode 4. We'll see if the upward trend continues or if we fall flat on our face. Until next Friday, everyone. See you then.